In this Elden Ring video, we're going to be taking a look at this monumentous title now that its 1-year anniversary is a week away. We're going to be discussing the sales numbers of this title, as well as what award it's won, but also whether the reviews were justified looking back after almost a year. Additionally, we're going to look forward to maybe what's next for Elden Ring, what can we expect on the horizon, and whether or not this game will actually get a DLC or potentially a sequel. As of the middle of November in 2022, Elden Ring has sold 17.5 million copies worldwide, including physical and digital, which means that this game will likely have sold 20 million or more units by the time its anniversary arrives. The first sale for this game ever took place just after these numbers were released, where we saw an incredible influx of new players on the wiki and on the guides, so we know that they sold a lot of copies during that sale. To give you a comparison, as of March 2022, all Dark Souls games combined, this is Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, had sold 33 million copies in their lifetime, which makes Elden Ring, by and large, the best-selling From Software title to date. Moving on to the awards that Elden Ring won, it of course won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and it was a lot of people's Game of the Year, including ours, battling it out with God of War Ragnarok, which we have a video about that, but it also won several other awards, including Best Role-Playing Game, Best Game Direction, as well as Best Art Direction. And Elden Ring has phenomenal game and art direction, so hats off to From Software for that. This is a game that is not easily forgotten, and one of the reasons is because of the way that it's designed and because of that art that we've all come to know and love from Software titles. In addition to winning these awards at the Game Awards and numerous other awards from other places, Elden Ring had one of the largest launches ever in terms of consumed YouTube content, surpassing GTA 5 by almost double its value at 3.4 billion views. It had such a significant impact on YouTube's traffic as a whole that they actually handed out Elden Lord Awards to different members of the community, and we of course won the All-Knowing Guide Award for all of our guide content on YouTube that we continue to publish to this day. What's very clear is that Elden Ring was wildly popular, it was reviewed extremely well, and people bought the game in spades, but looking back at this game now that we've had a year to play it, is it as good as we thought it was at the time of release? In my opinion, it's extremely easy to judge a game through rose-tinted glasses at launch where you're hyped, the game's fun, you've only played a little bit of it, you're really enjoying it. But looking back at a game that you've played over 1,000, nearly 2,000 hours in, does it still stand up? Is it still as good? Are there a lot more flaws than you initially thought there were? These are questions I ask myself a lot when I think about Elden Ring, and here's what I think. Looking back at the game now, I think we were pretty damn close. Honestly, the game, to me, is as good now or better as it was at launch, and I still enjoy my time playing the game. I'm still making content for this game. I enjoy making content for this game. I look forward to playing Elden Ring during my day in order to create content. This game has just so much to it, and every day I learn something new about this game. There's just too much to it for one person to know, which is where the wiki comes in. And there's a lot of good information on there. And there's things in this game I still haven't seen after almost 2,000 hours of gameplay, simply because certain scenarios have not happened to me, or I've been focusing on certain things and I haven't explored other things. And I think that's absolutely incredible that you can play as much as I have and still discover things about this game, and still have an incredible knowledge about the game, but still find things to discover, and it makes it feel new and fresh, like every time I play. Looking back at our review for this game, we gave it a 9.5 out of 10. And this is a game we really wanted to give a 10 to. We've never given a 10 for any game ever in any of our reviews. None of them have ever achieved a 10, which is, in my opinion, a perfect score. And the reason we didn't give Elden Ring a 10 out of 10 was for PC performance. We played on PC. The performance was not up to par, in my opinion. That was basically the only knock on the game. Performance on PC is definitely much better now than it was then. So I think, if anything, our score has gone up a bit. But this is a game that really is a 10 for most people if you just overlook that little bit of performance. The only other real critique I could give of the game, finding fault with it, if any, is the amount of copy-paste in this game. There is a lot of bosses that are copy-pasted. This is something you find a lot in open-world games because you're creating a huge amount of content. So I don't think this is something that From Software did badly. In my opinion, they did it better than most open-world games. And also because of the way the itemization is, it makes you want to defeat those bosses even if you fought them 2 or 3 times already, because you're not sure what you're going to get. It might be something good for your build. The itemization in this game really makes up for that copy-paste, in my opinion, where a lot of games get the itemization wrong and it feels like a drag to fight the same enemies and bosses over and over. But here we are almost a year later, and we haven't had any announcement of any expansion or anything like that, or any paid DLC. We did have a content update in the form of the Colosseums, the PvP update, where they separated PvP balancing from PvE, and that is definitely a significant change to this game. But there hasn't been any update of any new content in terms of PvE content that players can go through, and we just don't know what they're working on or if they're working on something. Now, I will say they must be working on a DLC. I cannot see From Software not making it, knowing that there's a huge demand for it and the fact that they've made DLCs for other games. It's actually not unheard of for them to have a DLC launch more than a year after the game. Artorias of the Abyss came out 13 months after the launch of Dark Souls, so that's not crazy. However, you probably heard about it long before 13 months. The fact that we haven't heard of anything at this point means it'll likely be longer than that still. But I would imagine if they're making a DLC for this game that it has to be rather large compared to something you would see for one of the Souls games, because the game itself is so much larger. So having extra time to work on that seems like something that would be likely. On February 1st, Bandai Namco Nordics put out a tweet saying that they're going to have a 1-year anniversary celebration in Stockholm, Sweden on the 25th of February that will also be live streamed on Twitch. There's going to be prizes, cosplays, giveaways, contests, etc. They did not mention anything about a DLC being announced. There's a lot of rumors swirling around suggesting that maybe they might say something here because it's the 1-year anniversary. It might be a good time to do it, but we just don't know. But I would suggest that if you are going to be around during that time period, maybe you stay tuned for the 25th to see if there is any news about a potential DLC, because it seems like a likely time they could announce one if there is one. And then lastly, talking about what's after Elden Ring. Are they going to do an Elden Ring 2? Are they going to do an Elden Ring 3? Is this going to be a trilogy, not unlike the Souls series? I think it's pretty obvious to me that all signs point to yes. This seems like the new flagship series for From Software with the sales numbers they've had and the awards they had, considering that there's so much they can still do with this title and franchise. I would be absolutely shocked if we did not see an Elden Ring 2 at some point or an Elden Ring 3. I feel like this is a no-brainer, and I would bet money that there's going to be an absolute franchise for this title. But now I want to hear from you guys. Are you guys still playing Elden Ring? How many of you still play the game? What do you love about the game when you're playing? What makes you continue to play a year later? And what are the things about the game that you think should be fixed with this game or changed? What are your critiques of the game as well? And do you think we're going to see a DLC announcement sometime soon? Are you guys expecting a DLC for this game? Do you think there'll be sequels to this game? Let us know in the comments below.